Hello, my name is Natasha Matter, and today I'll be discussing homosexuality in sport. So the heart of this issue is that gays, lesbians, transgenders, and bisexuals receive lots of negative attention from team members such as coaches, teammates, and much of the media because of their sexual orientation. It's important to differentiate between lesbian female athletes and gay men athletes and their experiences because their experiences are very different with regards to homophobia. Um, and I just want to say that although Canada has come a long way to accept various minorities and increase their ability to participate in sports, there is still a stigma attached to homosexuals playing sports. So I think this issue is very important because these attitudes support a sport community that's not welcoming to homosexuals. So that means they're discouraged to play sports at a young age and become involved in physical activity. Also, many sports teams miss out on the chance uh, to take on very talented athletes just because they have a different sexual orientation. This also creates a struggle to hide one's identity and creates self-esteem issues. Lowers their confidence and a series of other psychological issues like depression, anxiety, which we don't want in young people or anyone really. And it's also, I think it's just time that prehistoric attitudes change. So to look at this issue, we have to look at gender ideology. And what this is what society views as the appropriate roles of women and men. So this is very much manifested in sports, and this comes from in Roman civilization, sports were a display of power and strength, and they were limited to men. So when you think of the activities they did, like hunting, wrestling, and fighting, these were limited to men. You wouldn't think of a woman doing these things back in the day. And their argument was that, well, women have to protect their reproductive organs, and they're frail and weak. So the implication this has with lesbian and gays is that gays are perceived as feminine men, and lesbians are perceived as masculine females. So this really creates a confusion in sports when males are supposed to be seen as having masculine features when they're playing a male sport, and females having feminine features when they're playing a female sport, or vice versa. So when most people see these sports, gymnastics, dance, or figure skating, which is not up here, they'll think of female sports. It's not, and if a male was displayed in one of these sports, it would be unusual, or, well, it's becoming more usual, but they're primarily female sports. And sports such as football or wrestling are seen more as male sports. So this is just a poll on the tolerance of gay men playing masculine sports. So it's generally more accepted for a woman to do sports that are not perceived as masculine, such as gymnastics, figure skating, and dance, and less accepted for a man to do these sports. Statistics show that people are highly intolerant of gay people playing masculine sports. Sorry, gay men playing masculine sports. So homophobia is the fear or discrimination of homosexuals, and it's projected verbally by physical harm or social isolation, so excluding a member from any team activities or just being friendly with them and confiding in them. Um, and it's also manifested through financial support. So an athlete is less likely to be sponsored if they are gay, or there's also a lower rate of recruitment from teams because no one wants to hire a player who is gay because it's bad publicity. Um, Gay athletes also often feel safer coming out at the end of their career, so they spend much of their career, and a career for an athlete can be up to 30 years, which is a long time to hide behind a cover just to please their team and the media and the whole sports world. So this is a poll that says that 65% of people reveal that they are less likely to purchase a brand that is endorsed by a gay athlete. So that just shows the financial support situation for gay athletes. So common stereotypes and perception of gay and lesbian abilities to play sport are the following. Gay men prefer artistic sports to contact sports. Females who excel at sports are lesbians. Gay men have less talent for sport. And transgender female athletes compete at an advantage over biologically born female athletes, which has been proven not to be scientifically and medically accurate. So this is just, remember, we're differentiating between male gay athletes and female lesbian athletes, and this is their portrayal in media. So males are often portrayed as being macho and associated with strength and masculinity. And it's also been seen a lot in whenever a male is coming out in the media, that the public find it difficult to accept a gay coming out. It's mainly caused because of the fear of losing the macho image among men. And journalists really contribute to this they often frame their questions around the negative and the consequences of coming out. So society obviously perceives it this way because it's a bias. So lesbian females, their portrayal in the media is that they're too masculine, and it's almost always linked to homosexuality. Also, whenever a female athlete goes on TV or is interviewed, they feel pressure to act feminine, or even on a magazine cover, they'll portray them as more feminine. And also, the media coverage on transgender athletes is often negative and uninformed on up-to-date scientific fact. So these are some examples of some famous athletes that are gay or lesbian or transgender. Jason Collins was the first athlete to come out openly in the media. He says, "I didn't set out to be the first openly gay athlete playing in a major American team sport, but since I am, I'm happy to start the conversation." Dave Pallone. In 1988, Dave Pallone, a National League umpire for 10 years, was fired by baseball commissioner Bart Giamatti. Pallone later said in his book Behind the Mask that he was let go because he was gay. Orlando Cruz. I've been fighting for more than 24 years, and as I continue my ascendant career, I want to be true to myself. I want to try to be the best role model I can be for kids who might look into boxing as a sport and a professional career. He continued, "I have and will always be a proud Puerto Rican. I have always been and always will be a proud gay man." Billie Jean King was forced to come out when former female lovers sued her for palimony. She lost commercial endorsements, and in 2000, became the first open lesbian ever to coach an Olympic team. Renee Richards was a former professional tennis player, and she became transgender in 1975 and was banned from playing in U.S. She's the only biological woman allowed to participate, and she fought the ban, and the New York Supreme Court ruled in her favor. So she continued to play until 1981. And in the fall of 2011, a documentary about her life was released. So, how can we stop homophobia in sports? Well, locally, we can spread awareness and education about gays and lesbians, which we are doing in schools. Education is being started in grade 1 to make kids more familiar and accepting of other sexual orientations. And all members of the team should be acceptant of sexual diversity. And this should be encouraged by the coaches, and any type of behavior that is homophobic should be punished, or there should be consequences for this. We could also remove stereotypes and see people for their athletic ability rather than their sexual orientation. Globally, we could, what we have done is there's the World Out Games, the World Gay Games, and what we could also encourage is accurate and positive coverage from the media, because a lot of the coverage is negative and contributes to society and the sports world's perception of gays and lesbians playing sports. So it is still a long way to go to achieve equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersexual people and in sports. But the challenge is to find ways to strengthen the many positive elements of sport while eliminating the discriminatory and disrespectful behaviors and attitudes. And here's a quote from Sid Ziegler. Who you want to have sex with has bearing on who you want to have sex with, and nothing else. Not on how fast you can run, not even on who you want to hang out with, or what you want to wear. It's just who you want to have sex with. So thank you, and I hope this enlightened you and changed your perception on homosexuals playing sports.